All right, this is the guide for installing my gels for the Cyclotron lenses for the HasLab pack. The only thing you really need is eyeglasses cleaner and an eyeglass cloth. Now, you don't want to use paper towels or dust cloths because they're too rough. You want something nice and soft like this, or a microfiber. Don't use Windex. It's not great for a lot of plastics and acrylics. This is made for that kind of stuff, so this will do better. And I would recommend wearing gloves so you don't get fingerprints all over the existing lenses and the gels we're going to put in. A few notes about this is these aren't going to be as scratch resistant or quite as good as putting actual acrylic lenses in, but this thing is a pain to get apart. And with these, you don't have to do any modifications or disassembly or anything like that, and they're relatively easy to put in, and they look pretty good. All right. Another thing to note is when you get these, it's most likely going to have some schmutz from the laser cutting process. And I debated about cleaning these before sending them, but the more you handle these, the more likely you are to get them scratched up or damaged. So, and you're going to have to clean them anyway when you first get them, just from the process of shipping and being in a bag and stuff like that. So I made the decision to leave them as is. It's not because of laziness. It's just trying to reduce the amount of handling these go through. So you're going to want to use, you can either run these underwater or use a nice soft cleaning cloth and some eyeglasses cleaner. And even if you do run them underwater, I would use a nice soft cloth to dry them off or let them air dry. And just be as gentle as possible and wipe them off a little bit. You will also notice, even after cleaning them off, there's going to be a little bit of a heat ring around this from the laser. Also kind of unavoidable. And it'll be hidden under this ring once you install it, so don't worry too much about that. All right, so let's get these installed. So you have two ways of doing this. You can simply just put it in, or we can do the fancier wetting method, which we'll go over both. I found that getting them in the 84 pack, which we have here, is a little trickier than the Afterlife pack. It just seems like the Afterlife pack has a little bit more clearance underneath this ring, but it should work for both. The main thing is you don't want to get a crease in this, like a major fold. I have cleaned all of these with a moistened eyeglasses cloth using the fluid. You're simply going to work this under the edge of this the whole way around. So I usually kind of pop it up, wiggle it. You can press down on the lens a little bit, and you're just gonna have to work your way around doing a combination of pushing, rotating, and pushing down on the lens just slightly until you get it popped in the whole way around. And once you get it close, what you might have to do is rotate it a little bit, or jiggle it back and forth, or just help one little area to pop, like right here. We just need to help this get the whole way under, so I'm going to pull it back a little bit. There we go. So that's the easy way. Okay. If you want it to look a little bit nicer, you can wet it as if you're doing tint. Hopefully I won't mess this up. Ideally, do this from a distance, and you want to try to spray as little as possible. If you get too crazy with it, you can just wipe some off. Okay. That's probably a little more than I need, so I'm going to just dab it a little bit. You don't want to go crazy because you're going to be squeezing this liquid out, and there are electronics here, but because this has some alcohol in it and everything, it's going to evaporate, and it should be okay. But with it wet, you're going to do the exact same thing. All right. But once it's in, there we go. We're going to rub down the top with the glass is cloth, and that's gonna push out the little bit of spritz that we did and get it to stick to the lens better. And one thing in particular, you might have to push out some bubbles, and you want to pay particular attention going around the very edges, because that's where you're going to notice sticking it up the most. So it's not a huge difference, but it does make a difference. So it kind of is up to you. Both of these are totally reversible. You can just pull these out. The liquid one will stick a little bit more, so you might jiggle it around a bit more in order to get it loose. But otherwise, you can just pull them right out. And just straight up, this will look better compared to the stock lenses, and it also looks a lot nicer when it's running. So there you go. And you are going to get some scratches and stuff on this. It's thin plastic film. It's going to happen. But I do include an extra in case you have any mess ups or damage to any. All right, good luck.